Although Nintendo has been consolidating its website presence under one domain recently, they do still own a number of different web domain names for their key franchises. So I thought it would be an interesting thing to do a review of them, and sure enough, there were some fairly big surprises along the way. And while this probably just suggests that some poor Nintendo of America employee hasn't been able to work through all the landing pages yet, there are a few things that we can definitely conclude from it. Let's just say that not all of these franchises are being treated equally, but we'll get to that in due course. First up, Nintendo does not own Mario.com, but they do own SuperMario.com. It won't shock you to find out that this is a thorough site with a section portentously entitled Mario News, as well as lots of plugs for Mario and Luigi and other content. I guess what's interesting here is that they've dedicated to spotlight Mario and Luigi over Jamboree, which is listed amidst other games, but it doesn't have its own section. It does, however, have its own landing page, although it's much more direct in selling you the new game. Despite this, there's a lot of detail on Mario Party related content, including details like rosters, which I didn't necessarily think would appeal to the casual audience. Pre-Jamboree parties are pretty much excluded though. Then there's MarioKart.com, which is, as you'd expect, a fairly slick site, although after the more dramatic front image, it follows the same kind of pattern as the Mario Party page, including focusing on the roster and the tons of tracks. The booster course pass is mentioned a bit further down, but curious by its absence is any reference to other Mario Kart games. To be fair, this redirects to the Mario Kart 8 section of Nintendo's website, but still, MarioKart.com has not a smidgen of an indication that Mario Kart Live Home Circuit or Mario Kart Tour exist, although to be fair in the case of the former, I suspect there may be stock issues preventing that game from being pushed. Zelda.com headlines with a mostly Breath of the Wild tinged display, but scroll down and we have Echoes of Wisdom features, and even the play button is styled in a Hylian manner. Very cool touch. Scroll down and we get featured products, and this is interesting. It's nearly in reverse time order, except Breath of the Wild has been moved to come before Link's Awakening. But the 6th slot is occupied by the Lego set for the Great Deku Tree. Absent completely are any Hyrule Warriors titles or Cadence of Hyrule. I would guess that they wouldn't want the brand confusion of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity on a site clearly geared as an entry page for fans, and of course they would likely make far less of this game as it's developed by Koei Tecmo, but it's still a striking omission. There's an amiibo section showcasing new figurines. I suspect the Zelda amiibo are probably some of their best selling. And then we have a news section, although it's just branded latest news this time, and then Link and Friends on Play Nintendo with various features. There's a particular call at the end to follow Zelda on Facebook, and I wonder why this specifically, given there are other social media sites listed below as well. Perhaps they feel that their target audience is more likely to be on Facebook, at least as regard The Legend of Zelda. One assumes they have to strategize which social media platforms to focus on based on audience type, and I would guess that Facebook would trend older, as would Zelda fans compared to some other Nintendo titles. Let's move on though, and we get Metroid.com. Okay, this is a pretty cool site with Samus emerging from the shadows as you scroll, and it starts with Metroid Prime Remastered, then Metroid Dread, then Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in that order. I'm sure the order will change pretty soon, but it's fun to see Metroid Prime Remastered get top billing, even though that's likely a function of recency, plus a wish to separate it from the more similar looking Metroid Prime 4. Then there's a scrolling section explaining that there are far more games featuring Samus Aran. What's curious is that nowhere here have they explained why Samus and not Metroid. The opening does say suit up as Samus Aran. Amidst all these classics, note the appearance as well of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. No particular link to Facebook on this one though. Pikmin.com is next, and yes, it's one they've put a lot of effort into. Lots of references to all the Pikmin tie-in stuff like the comics, and of course there's a demo for Pikmin 4, which includes a little tag in the corner indicating it's a Game Awards winner. Unlike Mario Party, they're keen to push the previous Pikmin titles, but unlike Metroid, these are pushed lower down the site, which is fair enough. And there's a cute interview section where if you click on the grass, it shows some information about the Pikmin types. There's promotion for My Nintendo and some other links, but overall, it's a pretty cool site. Okay, so far we've had quite a bit of luck finding these sites. However, our luck is about to change. Splatoon.com is not owned by Nintendo as far as I can see, and neither for that matter is Splatoon 3. The Splatoon 3 site is decent enough, but this video is about those landing pages, so suffice to say it's much the same as the kind of sites we've seen so far. What about Animal Crossing? Surely the pandemic's most massive video gaming breakthrough title has its own landing page. Well, sorta. AnimalCrossing.com doesn't redirect to Nintendo, but Animal-Crossing.com does. There's a cute animation of various people welcoming you, you can find out whose birthday it is, and then there's a news site and a short blurb if you scroll a bit for Pocket Camp. There's a section on news, a section plugging amiibo, and there's a section for Play Nintendo. But what astonishes me most is that there's absolutely nothing about Happy Home Paradise, which is, after all, one of the shop window offers for the NSO Plus expansion pack service. I've seen them plugging this in other advertisements, and the Mario Kart page is full of Booster Course Pass references, so I'm not sure if this is an oversight or if they've just decided that they would rather get people in on the ground floor first. Luigi'sMansion.com is an interesting one, and this now redirects, much like Mario Party, to a sales page, but a sales page only for Luigi's Mansion 2. Not a single reference to the massively successful and, let's face it, much more compelling Luigi's Mansion 3. But if you think Luigi's Mansion is given short shrift, things are about to get even dicier. PaperMario.com redirects us to a sales page for, Origami King. And look, I do believe that this is just a case of so few people using PaperMario.com these days that the time spent to update the landing page to direct to the Thousand Year Door just wasn't worth it. I don't think this truly indicates a deep preference at Nintendo for the Origami King over the Thousand Year Door. But if you think that's bad, check out www.starfox.com, which redirects to the My Nintendo store. Not a single reference on there to Star Fox at all, even for Fox McCloud's Nintendo Switch Online presence. And yet surely the anti-fave of the group has to be, yes, Advance Wars, which Nintendo do own the domain for, and it redirects to, whoops, the info you're looking for can't be found. Oh, Nintendo, you cruel, cruel company, what are you like? Even more bizarrely, ChibiRobo.com goes to Nintendo's international support pages. Perhaps they feel if you're expecting Chibi Robo to return, you need support. CustomRobo.com visitors don't get support, but they get redirected at least to Nintendo's main page. Most other pages redirect to My Nintendo Store, including ones for old franchises like Wii Sports, while it seems that Nintendo never bothered stumping up for newer franchises like Ring Fit Adventure. Let's leave off with DonkeyKong.com, which has been updated in the last year but doesn't have a flashy page of its own. Rather, it's a generic page with Donkey Kong games and merch for sale. Disappointingly low effort given that there's a new game out and a new theme park attraction coming up, but there you go. Look, I can't blame anybody at Nintendo for neglecting these landing pages in recent times, since I doubt there's anybody under the age of about 40 and vanishingly few people above that age who still search for information on something by typing in the website address and then adding .com at the end. There's no reason for them to keep these websites going, but then again, no reason to surrender existing web domains, which is probably an explanation for why Advance Wars and Chibi Robo have redirects, whereas more recent games do not. I still find it curious that Happy Home Designer and Luigi's Mansion 3 are being de-emphasized and that Donkey Kong doesn't appear to be positioned for anything too big, but who's to say that this won't all be about to change? Do check out the videos pinging onto the screen right now for more content for the channel. There's a Patreon link below with some cool stuff, and I'd like to say thank you for liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing, and I shall see you next time for another Nintendo Forecast.